Hey, good morning, watch people. Welcome to another show, Rich Buddy Live show. Thank you for joining. This is the show, in case you don't know, where we talk about luxury wristwatches, the Watch Enthusiast channel. And this morning we're doing an early. We're the early birds, man. I got Clyve on the show this morning, and it's about 4:30 a.m. here in California. What, 7:30 where you're at, Clyve?
6:30.
Oh, 6:30. You're 2 hours ahead of me. Okay.
Well, keep in mind the flyover states, we're 2 hours ahead, but we're about 20 years behind.
That's not a bad thing usually. It works out in your favor during times like this. Smaller towns, it's kind of nice.
Well, actually, in the metro I'm at, it's pretty fair sized. Most of the population's there. It's just so spread out.
Clyve is an early bird who wears a rare bird. That's what Geezer's saying. What's up, everybody? Hello, Holland. What up, Brummy Jack? Brummy Jack and I were just watching Suckerhorn's what was it? Strippers video. Were you watching that, Clyve?
No, I literally woke up about an hour before you. Well, 30 minutes. Yeah, about an hour ago. So
yeah, I'm running late.
Well, that's what I was about to say. So good morning, watch people. That's kind of ripping off Paul Thorpe, and then you started 3 minutes late. That's kind of ripping off Archie.
Okay. Twofer. Why not? Why not? And I got my power breakfast, toast and cream cheese, slightly toasted, slightly over toasted too.
Huh.
I live off toast and cream cheese. That's how I lost most of my weight.
I will have to try that because I do have some cream cheese spread, and I've got this nice little artisanal baked 9-grain bread, and that stuff is wonderful when it's toasted.
I tell you, I'm addicted to it. It's just like sometimes my wife will make dinner or a really good breakfast or something, and I'll just be like, nope, I'm addicted to my cheese and toast. That's all I need. Yeah. So what's going on? What were you telling me just before we started? We were talking about, you were enlightening me as to what high-end collectors are doing.
Yeah, I've actually heard this from a few people. I'm not going to name any names, but these guys,
Archie.
Oh, no. Though, I hate to say it though, with all the Pateks, you could argue that that's moved him up a tier. Even though I can't tell one apart from the other. I don't know. I even wonder if he can. But what I've been hearing is that the really well-heeled portion of the hobby, we've been hearing doom and gloom and how prices are going to fall. Once people start hearing the wolf outside the door, they're going to start selling watches. But what I'm hearing is that the really, truly financially stable people are actually moving into the hobby with a vengeance, buying up truly higher, I hate to say investment grade, but truly collectible style watches.
I mean, I can see that, but who are they buying them from?
Well, of course, their watch dealers still have their doors open. Even Govberg and Watchbox, they're still putting out videos. They're all just doing it from home. And as far as I'm aware of, no major watch dealer has gone down so far yet. They're not. Their
Right.
margins, I've heard their margins aren't that great, but it's not like, they've got at least enough to keep the things operating for.
So what you're saying is kind of in line with what Tim Mossel was saying the other day when he said that high-end collectible pieces haven't gone down in value because high-end collectible collectors are still buying them.
Exactly. And like I said, in certain brands, they're almost recession proof. Like, for instance, Roger Smith. People literally buy Roger Smith's years in advance. He's going to be, there's no reason for him to step away from his workbench. He's just going to make sure the other workbenches next to him are like 6 feet away.
Right.
Or he's not going to allow anyone to leave the Isle of Man.
Kind of like Mark.
No, that's the Isle of Men.
Hey, I'm glad that we're not in that tier of collecting, because otherwise there's no benefit. There's no gain for us in the market, because we wouldn't be seeing any watches go down for us to nab.
Well, in Geezer is also saying Duty Robson. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's the sort of, and I almost think they're doing it because, when they say when the economy is doing well, gold is stable. When the economy is doing poorly, gold goes up. And I think a lot of people are almost viewing these watches, these collectible style watches, as the new gold.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not talking about like a ceramic sub-date. I'm talking about, a red sub or a 4-digit. Stuff that's not currently being produced, but.
Yeah, right. I'm with you. I mean, these guys are just drooling right now, hoping that there's going to be smaller collectors who might have these grail pieces that can't hold on to them, and they're going to be right there to grab them at a discount.
Yeah. Well, as I understand it, though, it's not even discount shopping. There are some discounts, like the really, really, truly overhyped pieces.
Mm-hmm. I'm wearing my Daytona ceramic.
Yeah.
Lee.
Like those. That's the current production watch. And they for the longest time, they've been selling for stupidly in excess of MSRP. Those are cooling down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But we're, I hate to say Patek Philippe, basically. The really, there's always going to be bargain shoppers, but I think there's some people that are, right now the stock market. Do you have money in the stock market?
I pulled out. I mean, I've got a few stocks that I haven't sold, but no, I don't.
And again, yeah. So people are worried about that. And even actually, it's like gold. It's like a hedge against fluctuations in the currency, because these economic stimulus. I mean, when I basically heard that, it kind of quickly occurred to me that these stimulus programs that they've got going,
yeah,
if they don't put enough in, then we're looking at a recession.
Right. They're making up for the lost money.
Right.
Lost wages.
And possibly deflation.
Like with oil?
Yeah. Or like I said, it was like the Great Depression. After Black Friday and the stock market crashing, credit. No one wanted to give credit anymore, so the money that was still circulating was worth more. On the other hand, now so that's a possibility. That's what the stimulus checks, the programs are meant to kind of combat.
Right.
But if they overdo it, it could be inflationary.
Very good points, Clyde. Very good points.
So what they're looking for is something that they could put money into and be relatively safe and stable.
Like Bitcoin?
Oh yeah, that's always been completely out. Well, I think that I think the people that made money off Bitcoin they've already hopefully taken their money out. They'll be like Mark Yusupon.
They made billions, man. They made billions. Fuck me. I could have been in that. I could have been in that pool. They were telling me, and I didn't listen, man. I did not listen.
Oh, well, okay. You know what the funny part is that, for the longest time, people, before Bitcoin really went up, people are asking Archie, hey, can you set up a Bitcoin wallet? Can we pay you in Bitcoin? Can we donate in Bitcoin? He's like, nah, he could be bothered to set up the wallet. So every once in a while, I like to tease him. It's like, had you not been so exceedingly lazy and indolent, you could have literally had like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Look, I got to be honest. So back in the day, when Bitcoin was very inexpensive, it wasn't that easy to set up a wallet. And I got in when it was easier to set up a wallet after the price went up. After that happened, there were some other coins I wanted to get into that you had to do the same thing for. You had to set up, I'm going to call it a manual wallet, because it takes some knowledge to set it up. It ain't like just a layman can do it. I had trouble setting up a wallet for this other coin. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I tried unloading, loading. I couldn't do it. If I had the same experience for Bitcoin years earlier, I wouldn't have been able to get the coin anyway. So I kind of write it off that way and tell myself, look, man, you were going to fumble. You weren't going to do it anyway. So don't cry over it. Don't fret. Hopefully it does something now.
Yep. Oh, by the way, did I send you a link to that nutritional supplement that Dr. Ron's been talking about?
Rogaine?
No.
No, what is it?
We'll talk about it after the show, basically. And Tom Austin does say hindsight is 20/20.
Yes.
Well, and I'm kind of thinking about Jesus.
And that's why it's still a good investment, Tom, because it's still confusing as fuck to the general person, and the general person hasn't invested in it yet. Exactly.
JT, the thought had occurred to me. But you know what that ultimately resulted in, right?
Bitcoin.
No.
War. But
how did who was the last elected chancellor of the Weimar Republic?
I don't think it's the obvious one, so I don't remember his name.
It is the obvious one.
Hitler?
Yep. He didn't take power. He was elected in.
Oh, I was going to say the chap before him, but I didn't know his name.
Hindenburg?
Is that who was before him?
No. Well, Hindenburg was technically the president. Hitler was the chancellor. I think maybe Franz von Papen, possibly.
I was just going to say one of those guys with the spiky helmet.
Yeah, that would be Hindenburg.
So.
And Jean-Claude Biver says, is anyone in the market for a new piece?
Good question.
Well, one of the guys I was talking to is one of those well-heeled ones. He's relatively unaffected by it. and he's very much in the market for a new place. He's like, this is the time to buy. And I'm not going to say who it is, but goddamn, the guy loves gold watches, and I'll leave it at that.
I'm in love with that Grand Seiko. I was going to say Grand Seiko. I'm in love with that Grand Seiko Godzilla.
I'll have to take a look. I've heard some people talk about it, but I haven't been bothered enough to actually look it up yet.
Yeah, I really love the piece. I think it's gorgeous. I'd have to see it in person, of course, but I'm really intrigued by its design.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah, sure.
Well, excuse me while I whip this out.
Yeah. Let's see here.
You know, since this ends, I'm going to try cream cheese on toast. You realize that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've lost. That's how I lost my 13 pounds. I did it that way. I had that for, and I would use and hard-boiled eggs too. Between the cream cheese and hard-boiled eggs. I'm digging the case and the strap.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a shark strap.
So I wondered if you have any troubles getting that inside the U.S. because, you know, we're crocodile and so forth and so on. They're straps made out of exotic animals. They're starting to really crack down on that.
Right. I wonder how shark fits into that whole mesh.
Ha, 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 ha. I see what you did there.
Hmm. Hey, but that is only in California, though. Isn't that issue only in my state? So I just like all the angles, all the cuts in the case, and the flat cut, the flat bezel that's facing you on the lug. The lug is it has that finish, that Zeratsu finish, or what they call it, that mirror finish.
Zeratsu, yeah.
Very cool. I mean, sapphire bezel. I'm kind of in love with the piece.
How much are they going for?
Well, we pulled them up on Chrono 24 the other night for 10,800, which is a couple of thousand below MSRP.
But it's like anything else, you know. Of course, it looks like it's got the spring drive, and some people, you know, some people prefer it. Some people, on the other hand, are ambivalent, and a lot of others think it's too close to quartz.
Well, Thomas and I had a discussion about this watch the last evening, and he was saying, hey, it checks that box off. You know, if you're a collector, it checks that box off. Checks off the Grand Seiko box, and you have a cool one. You don't have to get one you don't like, but you can, you know.
Yeah, it's sporty and kind of dressy at the same time. I have to hand it that.
I love the scabby looking strap. I wonder what it looks like in person.
You mean scabby look? You mean you like the texture of the
Yeah, it's just so odd. And the sapphire bezel. How unique is that to Grand Seiko? I don't know if they use that on a lot of their pieces. Do they?
The bezel?
Yeah, sapphire bezel. You know?
No, that's probably where. I mean, that's relatively a new innovation for them, even though everyone else has been doing it. But
yeah, so it's kind of cool.
Now, what I'm kind of wondering though about the spring drive, is, of course, more accurate. You a big failure point for quartz watches, even the highest end quartz watches, is that eventually the batteries basically roll over and die, and then start spitting acid all around the case, kind of like Alien, where you actually, if you wing one with a assault weapon.
How does that work in the Grand Seiko? Explain to me. I never even thought to think about the battery. There has to be a battery component in there.
No, there's not. There's not. The rotor and everything else powers is converted. The mechanical energy is converted to electrical energy, which
vice versa. Yeah, it's a permanent little battery, isn't it?
Right. Because if they put batteries in it, what's the point of having the spring drive? It might as well. It's a quartz. Well, yeah, and then something says only if you leave the battery in there for 15 years. Thank you, and something.
Gotcha. Yeah.
WX, the flu kills more people than guns.
That's
so yeah. Oh, now Brownie Blue Watch says the bezel does rotate, which is kind of disappointing.
It doesn't rotate.
No.
I can see that is disappointing. Shouldn't that be the function of it, to be able to use it? But hey, it's a token piece, I guess. Anyway, what other watches have a bezel like that doesn't rotate? The Explorer 2. What's the point of that? Why do they not allow the bezel to rotate in the Explorer 2, for example? Is there, off the top of your head, do you know the reasoning?
Yeah, so you can set. It makes it easier to set the second time zone, the GMT hand. It's only really meant to keep track of 2 time zones, as opposed to like a GMT Master, which actually tracks, I think, 3.
Gotcha.
Tom Austin says Godzilla doesn't skip leg day.
Yeah, I like this one. So this is one I'm considering, and this is a serious consideration for Rich Buddy. Other than, I'm on the list for a Panda Daytona and a Pepsi, and if they call me for either one of those, I'm running in to grab them.
What about the Aquanaut?
That, I don't know, man. That's too expensive. I'm scared to get that piece. I'm not going to think about it for now.
Well, if you buy Rolexes and Grand Seikos, you damn sure ain't gonna get it.
That's true. So yeah, there's a lot to think about for, as far as my collection goes and what gives going forward. Yeah, got a lot to think about. Yeah, the chances of me saying yes to the Aquanaut get much slimmer to 0 if I pick up the Pepsi or another Daytona.
Yeah, your opportunity cost is the Aquanaut.
Right. It's the thing is the Aquanaut going to hold MSRP plus tax for me? That's, with bracelet, with strap, with extra buckle, because I'm getting the whole kit and caboodle. So that's the real question. Which, can I send that to a dealer and get my money back at any given time? And is there any risk going forward in that? There is, I think.
Well, yeah, especially for a brand new piece. I mean,
the good thing is that the production is so limited. That's not going to change regardless of the economy. So maybe I'm safer in that piece than even a Rolex. What do you guys think? What do you think, Clyve? What do you guys think in the chat about that?
Well, it's just like anything else. You have to have supply and demand.
Right, just like anything else, yeah.
And it's possible to have watches with very limited supply. I mean, the rare birds, for instance, the reason those are probably some of the most limited Rolexes that were ever made, but they're relatively unknown.
JT brings up another point too. This is what my wife has told me in the past. My wife has kept me from selling my watches, believe it or not. The force that you would think would entice you to sell your watches is quite the opposite. She tells me, I know how much you love your watches, and with the Bitcoin we have, if Bitcoin goes up and makes us a lot of money, your watch value is going to be minuscule compared to our account value, and you're going to regret having sold your watches. So she tells me not to do anything rash like that. But at the same time, she knows I'm not going to say no to that Aquanaut, but I'm sure in the back of her mind, she's like, holy crap, he's really going to blow 26 grand on a watch right now.
Well, and again, you could adopt a contrarian style, a Warren Buffett style. When everyone else is selling, buy. When everyone else is buying, sell.
Right. Geezer says, I think you'll be a lot safer with hot Rolexes than a 5167A.
Well, Geezer, yeah, but he's also talking about getting it for MSRP, for Pete's sake. Dan Radke, yeah.
They're not going for that much more over MSRP. Let me pull it up on my favorite, on Chrono 24.
Now, also, to paraphrase Sven, he's more or less saying, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about here, huh, Sven?
Yep.
So,
hello, Carlos.
Hi, Carlos from Panama. So, I mean, so I do believe walking out the door, I'm spending 26 probably on the watch. So yeah, I mean, there's a $10,000 buffer right here. For the one with the bracelet.
Well, probably more like a 7,000 buffer, because a dealer's not going to touch that without making a profit. That's what they'll sell it for.
Okay, so $4,000 buffer. Let's be realistic.
Okay.
I'm not gonna because there's no way. I mean, when I went to go sell my Daytona, they wanted to make $7,000 on my Daytona. They weren't giving me no $4,000 buffer, man.
Well, how much were they offering you on it?
They were offering me before it was coming to me, so they know it's a brand new piece with stickers. They were offering me 18, and at the time they were selling for 24.5 in that condition.
Well, that's still like that's a $5,000 profit, though. That's not bad.
Okay. So 30. So this watch here, I would be able to sell it for 30 then, right? To them, let's say.
Right.
Okay. So not that much of a buffer, $4,000 for me, right? I'd make $4,000. So if the watch prices drop 10%, now I'm even money. And at that, they probably wouldn't even want the watch, because they'd be like, well, now there's not that much of a demand for them. They're only selling for even money. So are they really going to even want them? It makes the price even drive lower, probably. You see how it's like an avalanche, maybe?
Yeah. Exactly. Now, are we going to clear the air for Bull Sanders, or?
Yeah. Why don't we call it a? Well, why don't we end the show? Let's go watch Bill's show. I can always come on again later this afternoon with you guys and with Victor and Bud. We've been talking to Victor lately. Maybe he'll come on later today. All right, guys.
Yes.
All right. Let's go watch
Right.
Bill Sanders, Watch Art Science. If you guys don't know the channel, go check it out. Okay, bye.
Thanks for having me on.